You gotta have a podcast.
You gotta have a podcast.
You gotta have a podcast.
You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a podcast. You gotta have a podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to You Gotta Have a Podcast. I'm your host, Angela Palladino, and we're back with another episode for season 2, this season of The Swerve. Today, we are talking to an incredibly talented professional chef, content creator, and recent Chopped champion, Alix Baker. Alix and I met recently working on a project that involved food and video, two of my favorite things in the world, and she's just a gem of a human, and this was a really interesting conversation. We chatted about how she started her career in PR and thought that that was going to be the trajectory for her, and then very quickly realized that she had to follow her passion for food. We go deep about what it's like working in professional kitchens and being a private chef. We go off on a minor tangent about our favorite pasta shapes and sauces. And of course, we get the lowdown on everything that happened on her episode of Chopped. It's super fun and super different than any other conversation on any of our other episodes because Alix is the first person in the food world to join me for a chat. I had a great time and I think you'll enjoy it too. Here is my conversation with Alix Baker.
I was an intern publicist pretty much, pitching outlets for various companies like Illegal Mezcal was one of my clients then. Yeah, and we did some really cool things there, but I was there briefly. And then I moved on. I was hired by a crisis management firm. And yeah, and it was cool. Not all of our clients were crisis, but after doing the grab him by the pussy scandal for Billy Bush, I was like, skirt.
I mean, that is truly a traumatic experience. I'm sure working on the crisis management for that.
That and like the Gawker Hulk Hogan scandal.
You know what a time and a place, because I can tell you literally what like season of like 2015, 16 that was.
Oh my God. Yes.
Summer 2016.
Summer. We called it the summer of Gawker.
It's so, wow. It really is. You're dating yourself here, Alix.
I mean, seriously.
So did you just like up and drop everything and were like, fuck this, I'm going to go to culinary school? How did the idea of getting into cooking come to you? Or is it something you always wanted?
I always loved it. Yeah. I never thought that I was going to be able to make it a career in the sense where I'd actually be physically doing it. I thought it was going to be like, I'd go into food media. Like, I think a lot of my life, I was told that I should go into communications because I am a very vocal person.
I mean, same.
Yes, like our type is always told, our extroverted, like, able to put whatever into words type is always told, like, you should be in communications. And so I was like, I should be in communications. And so I went to school for that. I went to Ithaca College and the Park School of Communications. It's like one of the best comm schools in the country. Mm-hmm. Not saying I was a good student, but I worked really hard to get into this communication school. And I always loved cooking and thought I'd do like food PR or something. And then once I was actually in PR, it was that 360 out of nowhere jump where I like one day, like I had been looking into culinary schools for maybe like 2 months, just like seeing what's out there. And then I was like, called my family. Hey, what do you think? Hey, what do you think? Hey, what do you think? As soon as I got like enough like support behind me, I felt like I had the confidence to like take that full 360 turn. And I just literally walked into my boss's office and was like, I'm going to go to culinary school. I'm going to leave PR.
Yeah.
And they were so supportive. It was cool.
That's cool. So it was always food for you. And you were just like, well, people are telling me I should do comm. So I'm going to do like the food, the closest thing to food in comm I can. Like I want to try to do food PR. And then you were like, actually, fuck the PR thing. I'm just going to do the food part.
Totally. Totally. And I also will say that I always had sort of an obsession with food and media. So I thought that was going to be fulfilling for me and a way to make money rather than being like in a kitchen.
Yeah.
I like always like watched the Food Network obsessively and like was really into Bon Appetit magazine and like all of its parts and people and celebrities and all of that. And that to me was like People magazine, you know?
Yeah.
But,
yeah, totally. So I want to get into the food media thing a little bit later in the convo, but first I want to like get a full understanding of like your journey. So then you went to culinary school. You just like turned out this job, and then did you just sign up for the next like semester opening and you just like start immediately?
I signed up for the next semester opening, but I really didn't like my job. Like I was really unhappy, and I think that was part of that's what I haven't mentioned yet, right? Was that I was like miserable at NPR.
Yeah.
Like I really hated it. I would like cry after work being like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And like, I was still with Christian. I was with Christian at the time since we've been together since we were born practically. And also dating me. And
just a couple of babies dating.
Just a couple of babies dating. Dating babies. And still are. And he like couldn't stand seeing me like this all the time. It was like miserable for both of us. So I like made it like my 25th birthday was my last day in PR. Like I like made it like a thing. I was like, this is going to be it. And I started working at like a little cooking school for kids that was right near my culinary school. So that when I started school, I could still pick up shifts here and there.
Yeah.
And in between leaving my job and starting school 3 months later, I just did that. And
cool. I really relate to that because I had a very similar trajectory where like I studied communications in college as well. I was going into marketing. I did go into marketing for like 2.5, 3 years. I hated it, was miserable every day, and was like, oh, what I really want to do is make films and make comedy. So, and I just
awesome.
did that same thing. Where right around like 24, I was like, I can't live like this for the next 40 years until I retire. I'm going to kill myself.
What were you doing in marketing?
I worked at a publishing company for a little while and was basically like copy editing. And then after that, I worked for an event company and I handled their media sponsorships and did all like the advertising placements for their sponsors of the events. Yeah.
I feel like with things like that, there's like really cool parts of the job probably like, but then like most of the time it's like boring.
Yeah, like it was mostly boring. Also, like the event one specifically, I was traveling all the time and working like cool. 90-hour weeks. Oh. Yeah, but I was traveling to like Des Moines and like going to Vegas for like conferences and like Scottsdale and Fort Lauderdale. It's like, it's not exotic places.
Right. That's fair. And you're working the whole time you're there. So even if you did want to check it out.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But, I know. Like, the communications ended up being really boring.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you think you're going to be talking or meeting people and
it's not that. Yeah. I mean, when in school, my favorite thing was, I've always been a performative asshole. So my thing in school was always like, I loved my public speaking classes and I loved presentations and I loved anytime I would get to make a video.
So funny. There were those kids that hated that.
I know. I was like, this is great. I don't have to prepare anything. I can just get up here and talk. Perfect. That's me doing stand-up comedy 10 years later.
I really want to see your show. I really want to see you perform.
I know. Well, I don't know how, like with the pandemic and everything, it's so weird. I haven't performed on a stage in like a year and a half, obviously. So I'm just like, well, we'll see what happens.
Wow. And so
I'll let you know the next time it happens.
Please. That would be awesome. We would definitely love to come. And so what did you do? Where did you go? Like, what was your jump like?
I just quit and I just went back to waiting tables and then started freelancing for video immediately. And then I moved to New York about 6 months after that to like get more into comedy writing and video. But yeah, my fallback was just like, because I had waited tables for all high school and college and everything. So I just went back to waiting tables and then started trying to get clients for freelance work at the same time until I had enough that I didn't have to wait tables anymore.
That's a classic combo, right?
Yeah, exactly. But so where, I know you've mentioned this to me before, but please remind me, where did you go to culinary school?
I went to ICC, which very sadly shut down during the pandemic.
Oh, man.
Yeah, really,
It's a
really
bummer.
unfortunate. It was formerly the French Culinary Institute, which I feel like is what it's known as.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Before.
And then I think like maybe a year or two before I went there, so maybe in like 2015 or something, they changed to the International Culinary Center to be more inclusive and worldly.
Not just
so I
French
did
cooking.
Not just French cooking. So I did that, and that was cool.
What was the experience like? Was it like, I feel like mostly from a male perspective, especially, I feel like I know those stories of like, it was like boot camp and craziness. Like, what was your perspective on it?
So funny because I do not have that perspective. That being said, I also didn't go to like, you know, a 4-year or 2-year program. I went to a program that you spend 4 months in the classroom and then you do 2 months outside of the classroom at a restaurant. I did. So the reason I chose this program was because the program was developed in partnership with Dan Barber's of Blue Hill at Stone Barns, or Blue Hill.
Yeah.
And it was a farm to table focused program, which was like really my driving passion for getting into the industry. Like I was like falling in love with like farmers markets. I went to school in Ithaca. Like I was surrounded by this
lots of produce.
I was surrounded by the veggies, and I loved them, and I wanted to be surrounded by more of them. So I did this 4-month program, and it was fun. I like made friends. It was kind of hard work, but like it was exciting to be back in school and for the first time doing something that I really was interested in. Like I was not a good student. Growing up, I always struggled in school. I have severe ADHD. Like I was in all of those special needs classes, and that was really hard as a kid and really damaging to my confidence.
Right.
Definitely. And it's something I'm like working through now. I like just started going to therapy, and I'm like,
it's like, oh yeah, that shit fucked me up.
Shit fucked me up. It's so weird. But then for the first time, I was like on a dean's list and like one of the highest performing in my class. And
Isn't it funny when you like actually really, really care about something, how much easier it is to just like focus and show up and do this.
God.
I mean, same.
It's terrible. I don't know how to focus otherwise though. Like I wish I could carry that. But it's the only thing that gets me to focus. I mean, I have had a to-do list of things that are not cooking related that just sits on my desk for so long because I can't focus on it. But like, tell me that I have an event in 2 days and I'll like be, you know, in what do they call it in Soul? In the zone, or
like in the zone. Oh,
in the zone.
In Soul, they do call it. Is it just in the zone, or is there something else they call it? I know what you're talking about.
When you're like in that, I've watched it like 6 times. I'm obsessed with that movie because it really is like finding your spark is beautiful, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be career related.
Yeah,
lucky
but
for
something
people
that you're
like you and I,
passionate
it
about.
is.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it really is. That's for me, like, and I've used that as sort of like a North Star for everything that I do and how I like kind of pursue my career and try to like figure out what I'm going to do next every time. It's like, what is exciting to me? What is going to like make me go and be excited to work this 18-hour day, you know? Because ultimately
100%.
in the film world, it's very similar to the cooking world. They're long days and you're on your feet and it's exhausting and frustrating. But like you have to be like, what's going to make me want to be there? You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And the reward in us having that type of day is there's a physical outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like it's rewarding.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, it's a special thing to take that leap of faith in yourself when when you're in a career that you've done because you think that it's the right way to path, or because you think it's the path that'll get you where you need to go or want to go. And then you're like, well, screw this. I really like something. Like I really have a hobby. Yeah. But it's more than a hobby to me. It's something that I want to do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like take that leap of faith is huge.
It really is. And like, you really have to believe in yourself, but it's also like, you got to have that little bit of a support system. And when you mentioned like calling your family and being like, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Like, I did the same thing. I literally was like, will you disown me if I like throw away the college degree I just spent 4 years getting?
I mean, I feel so guilty for it. My school was $200,000.
It's insane.
$200,000.
Yeah. But hey, you do use some of those skills now, even if you don't think that you are using them. I'm sure
You're
some
right.
of it is still applying. You're still, writing emails.
It's
showing
true.
up on
And
podcasts.
here we are. And it's actually true. And now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
I use InDesign to create menus for my clients. Like when I do private events, I keep it as this like special service for my clients. I'm like, by the way, like I can create a custom menu for you that says like Angela's 30th birthday or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, it'll have a menu written out, like it could be in your favorite colors, blah, blah, blah. And I design it and I make it sexy and I send it off and I'm like, print this and put it on your table. And, like having those marketing ideas or whatever is good.
Those skills are super helpful. Like I find now, like, because I have those skills from studying comm, like I also minored in graphic design. So like, it's a lot easier for me to market myself. Like I can do my own website. I don't have to pay someone to do my website. I can like make my proposals look really nice, Right. Like that's sort of thing.
True.
It's like no matter what you're doing now, but like having those marketing skills so that you can market yourself, especially as an independent, like essentially freelancer, or starting your own company,
100%.
like you need that skill. So yeah, I think it was worth the $200K.
Sure.
Right,
it kills me to say it out loud, but yes.
I know. Like, listen, welcome to America. You know what I mean?
That's for another podcast.
I know.
One on a different topic.
That's for my politics podcast that I'm going to be starting.
Exactly.
Okay, so then after culinary school, I know before you started doing private stuff, you worked in restaurants for a while, right? Because I know now you do a lot of private chefing.
I do private chefing.
But so then you went and worked in restaurants for how long did you do that for?
I did that for 2017 to 2000 for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say though, because it feels like it was for so much longer than that.
I mean, but I bet I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that you were working probably like 80-hour weeks. So you can really just double it and say it was 6 years.
It is so true. So true. Sometimes there would be like a 12-day stretch.
Yeah.
If I wanted a day off, it was like, okay, great. You'll work 14 days.
Yeah.
To get that day off. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's like I need one day off.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. It was good. I mean, listen, I feel like I experienced what that true idea of restaurant life is like, where, you're in that tough kitchen. I spent a bit over 3 months at Blue Hill at Stone Barns. Mm-hmm. That's where I did my internship. And so that was the first kitchen that I ever worked in.
Yeah. Was that intimidating when you first stepped in there?
Yes. Yes. I was so small.
Okay. Like you are fairly short. I will give you that.
It's funny because I didn't mean physically.
I know.
It's true. I was small. There were a lot of like tall foreign people around, a lot of like hot foreign chefs. But it was, I actually in my second week there, I got 2nd and 3rd degree burns on my entire right hand.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I was gone for 3 weeks to a month.
There's really not much you can do because you kind of need both hands to cook.
Oh yeah. Let alone be near heat. And I'm serious. It was bad news. I had to go to a burn center and then
oh, yikes.
I've never been in such pain in my life. Physically. Emotionally, maybe different. So that was pretty crazy. That was, my first restaurant experience. And it was that true classic fine dining restaurant kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because I got to learn the front of house a little bit. And I got to see what happens in the back of house and be a part of it. And after that burn, I went back and blessing and curse, they had to put me on the garde manger station, which is a step up from where the interns usually are.
Keep away from the heat.
Literally. I couldn't work on the amuse station, which is the tiny little starters. And I had to go to the step up. So that was pretty sick. So I guess
blessing in disguise.
Exactly.
All you had to do was sacrifice your literal skin.
It's back. It grew back. It's
That's
fine.
The thing about
I have
skin, it grows back.
The epidermis is an amazing thing. I lost a little pigmentation between my knuckles, but that's about it.
Oh, that's fair.
It's fine. That is fair. So that was that experience, and then I moved on. Literally the next day after I finished that, I went to go do a stage at Lilia, and I ended up there for 2 years, or a little under 2 years. And that was again that was where I learned how to be a cook. And spending a year and 9 months there was 5 years in my mind. Because I learned everything there, but I also dealt with really tough people, really tough chefs. The true experience. I felt really alone while I was there, very lonely.
Yeah. How big are these staffs at Lilia? How many people in the kitchen?
There were usually 7 of us on the line. Including including pastry. It was 7 people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
At night.
Was it very siloed, or was it you had to know everything of everything so that you could swap in and out of any station at any point?
It was siloed, but with growth, that ended up being the case.
That's good.
Yeah. There were nights where I'd be working the saute station after, because I was training around, I'd be working the saute station so that when pasta station got busy, I could move over there. It was, it was strategically placed. And there was only one station at that restaurant that I didn't work. 2, I guess, including pastry, but.
Yeah. And that gives you a really well-rounded sort of experience of it's not just you spent 2 years doing saute. It's you did all the different
things. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I flipped pasta for a year in that restaurant.
I could flip pasta for the rest of my life, if I'm quite honest with you.
I love pasta so much.
Me too. That's been my quarantine thing. You made up a song about pasta?
Yeah, I have to think of what it was. I really want to. I went into Greenpoint Fish, where I go all the time, and I made up a song about it, and I sang it to one of the chefs there who I'm friends with, and he called me Weird Al.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I need to think of the song. It was to the tune of another song. Anyway.
My quarantine hobby has been making pasta from scratch, and then getting really into pasta sauces from scratch.
What's your faves?
Pasta wise, I just like a linguine. I'm basic. Yeah, or tagliatelle. Just give me a thick long.
Thick long nude.
Yeah. Although if I can't make it myself, but I will say my favorite shape is cavatappi. I think it has the best of everything.
I actually made some last night when I did that kids mac and cheese.
It's perfect. It's like mac and cheese, but double enriched. It's just it's like macaroni
and it
double ridged
inside and
it's
around.
Perfect. It's the perfect shape.
It's a good shape.
And then sauce wise, I just do a lot of sort of primavera stuff, different vegetables in a red sauce. That's kind of my wheelhouse. What about you? What's your favorite pasta shape and sauce?
I'm drooling. I'm a sucker for a filled pasta with a really simple sauce. If a pasta that's perfect, with a great filling that is super flavorful, but also a really amazing, very thin sheet of pasta around it.
Yes.
In a super simple sauce. I mean, when I was working at Lilia, one of my favorite pastas was this corn cappelletti, and it was this corn and ricotta filling. and the sauce was like, now I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember, but I just remember it being like really simple, like a butter sauce.
Yeah.
And just like this like intensely corn filled
That sounds really good. Also, that's what you need for a filled pasta. I hate when you get like a ravioli or something and it's like 3 inches thick and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no, this is not delicate.
I know.
I don't want to roll myself out after this.
They're like, this is a turnover. This is an empanada. This is not
right. Exactly. we're not going for dim. Although I do like a thin dim sum too. I shouldn't even say that bad.
Anyway, not to get fully off track, but I could make a whole other podcast only about pasta. Truly,
we could. We should. We could.
Honestly, let's start a pasta cast. A pasta cast.
Pasta cast. That sounds amazing. I mean, Molly Baz just did one all about sandwiches. You know? Totally. Yeah. So we can do it.
So what got you, like, okay, not to like reveal the elephant in the room, but recently you appeared on Chopped, which was incredible. And you were successful in your endeavor and won. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
But so I want to know, like, did you get into doing private chef work before you started? You had the opportunity to be on Chopped, or after?
Before. When
so
how
did you get into
hit.
that? Yeah, the pandemic. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
Totally. Like, it was a different avenue. I guess when the pandemic hit, I was working at Ernesto's, which loved the team there, loved the opportunity to be there. I was on the opening team. I learned a lot about that. But I think I was like sort of exhausted of being a woman in a kitchen. I'm going to be real. Like it's a lot. Like it's a lot. It's a big weight to carry. And I give so much credit to women who do it for a really long time. I mean, like it's, and it's just a big burden.
Yeah.
And that's again, a whole other podcast, but
yeah. And it's not like, you work for a couple days on one gig and then you're done. It's like, it's every day. And for, 12 to 16 hours a day. Like
it's exhausting. Yeah. It's exhausting. And I'm not saying that there was any reason why Ernesto's was exhausting for me as a woman in the kitchen. It's just the whole
industry.
Thing. The industry and in general, whatever gender you are, whoever you are, it felt like a relief. I had a life. I saw Christian, which was cool. We weren't just like shadows passing in the night when he had 5 a.m. call times and I was sleeping till 1 p.m. and getting home at 1 a.m. Yeah. That was really sick. So I had a life and I like saw my friends and family on weekends. And then
what a thought, huh?
I mean, it was crazy.
Revolutionary.
I totally forgot what that was like. And then opportunities just started to come up. We started doing some of this production stuff. And a friend of mine posted on Instagram that I have done some dinners, right? Like I've done like dinners here and there for like 10 people, whatever, where I just like kind of go to their house and prepare them. And then my friend posted on Instagram, was like looking for a private chef. And I just like was like, hey, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so that was my first time like cooking for a family. And that's been really cool. Doing that for people who have really nice kitchens and homes that I can work in. Because
they're not going to use those $5,000 stoves. They're not, but you are.
I will. Oh, I will. I will use it all. I will use that beautiful grill outside. I will use all of it. Your 5 fridges to fill, which is awesome and spacious and unlike my easy bake oven and mini fridge in my kitchen.
Brooklyn easy bake oven mini fridge setup.
It is a miserable place, but we make do with what we have.
Yeah.
So that's been the last like year. And it's been really cool and I'm into it. I like it.
Yeah.
I have creative freedom. My schedule isn't as exhausting.
Yeah.
Even if I am working weekends or nights, like it's not, it's not kitchens. It's flexible.
Yeah. And New York is a good place to do that, because the kind of people that, have private chefs live here, one, but two.
Yes, they do.
It's like there's also like you can very easily get out to the Hamptons or upstate or anything like that for those types of clients. And I bet it's like really interesting and weird at times to like sort of rock up to these houses and be like carrying your bags of groceries and everything, be like, I'm here.
And I drive a 2009 banged up Ford Focus in silver. It's a sight. I mean, like,
toot, toot, I'm here.
Literally, my car's like my brakes when I stop in their beautiful driveway in the Hamptons, like overlooking the bay, and I'm like, skirt, like, pulling up, loading 6 totes on either arm, like waddling in the house and throwing all my stuff. I mean, it's awesome. I really do like it, and it's creative freedom, and it's something new. That's cool. And I get to interact with the people that I'm cooking for. Like, obviously, like, it's not like, buddies or friends or anything like that. And you are very much alone. So there's no camaraderie like you do have in kitchens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never felt a strong sense of camaraderie in kitchens, except for maybe in like one experience where I like ended up making some really close friends through like a pop-up. Here and there I became close with people, but I just never felt that bond that a lot of people get out of kitchen life.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of nice to just do my own
solitude
thing. Yeah.
Here's just a little curious. What's like, have you gotten any like strange food requests from these private clients? Any weird standout like meals that you're like, what the heck? Or no, is it pretty standard stuff?
I'll tell you, I wish. Nobody tells you what they want. You just have to come up with stuff for them, which I think is the most challenging part, because how can you just tell somebody what they want to eat?
Yeah. Like you probably just get a list of like dietary restrictions, and then it's like, here you go. Whatever fits in this.
Exactly. Anything in this wheelhouse will flow. And then you make something and it's like, and then you like look at the plate afterwards and it's like, there's a bunch pushed over to the side. I'm like, well, clearly something in there wasn't like, it's either a spice or, it's, whatever it is. I mean, that's happened often, but it's on them. It's not me. No, it really has not happened often, but sometimes you'll see like, cause like, I put out things, I do family style. So, you'll put something out and you'll see that like you end up with a bowl full of food still or whatever. And it's not personal. It's people's preferences.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Sometimes the salad's all gone and there's still a whole bowl of potatoes because somebody didn't want carbs that day.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah. It's such an interesting world. I actually know in my life one other person who is very similar to you in that they are a private chef and also a chopped champion.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you have to give me their name. Okay.
Yeah, she goes by Chef Lean. Her name's Kathleen, but like her Instagram presence is Chef Lean, and she was on the show. She was on Chopped like 2019 or 18 maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
I'll send you her Instagram.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yeah. I know her because I worked on a video with her a couple of years ago for the big egg, the incredible egg lobby, the incredible edible egg.
No
it's
way.
like the egg lobby.
The incredible edible egg.
Exactly. It's
clearly not a singer.
It's not even. I think it was good. You are Weird Al, so it's fine.
Weird Al.
So that kind of like brings me to like when you and Christian started collaborating, him being a video guy and you being a food gal, collaborating on creating sort of your own food media, and now you're working even with clients now, creating stuff for outside brands. Did you just start it as like, oh, it would be really fun to film some recipes, like your own recipes basically? Is that how you guys started doing that? Or
well, I wish that was the case, because we never film me unless there's like a purpose. And I would really like to change that. But it's a lot already like working with him. So I feel like, getting him to do personal stuff with me is maybe in the winter when things slow down. But it started because when the pandemic hit, a friend of mine started a little company, basically like a farm to table, a farmer's market on wheels. Kind of like getting produce and goods from the Hudson Valley and bringing them to New York.
Cool.
And it was a really dope service. And they were just starting the website, and I like messaged her and I was like, how can I get involved with you?
Yeah.
And she was like, she's like, I don't know. I just really need like content. And I was like, okay. So like, and I was kind of like half joking, I think, when I said like, okay, like send me groceries, I'll make recipes and my boyfriend will shoot them.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, go on the website. So you just like straight up cold
pitched yourself. You were like, I can do this for you. You want content? Let me get you some content.
I got you content. I got you content right here. I guess, before that, Daily Harvest was reaching out to chefs.
Okay. Yeah.
Asking them to like put out like they sent me some flatbread and they were like, hack our flatbread. And so I did that and Christian shot it. And we were like, okay.
This could be something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it just sort of like snowballed from there. And then a company that Christian had shot for in the past, you know, picked us up as a regular weekly client. So we've been doing work for them since the winter.
Cool.
Every single week. And then Shay, Christian's sibling, brought us on or through their company, who knew us from different projects.
Yeah.
I had catered one of their production sets before, and Christian's worked with them many times. They got this Coca-Cola thing and they took a chance on us, really.
Yeah.
Reached out, like, Shay and their coworkers like kind of were like, hey, like, do you guys think you could do this? Like, do you guys think you could handle this? And we were like, hell yeah, we could handle this.
We were like, give it to me and let's find out.
Let's go, baby. I remember getting a text from Shay being like, hey, like, Shay texts really funny. She like, or they like send like, you know, one text at a time. So you're always kind of left like hanging.
What's next?
Like, hey, they're like, hey,
30
Coke
minutes later.
Project. Yeah, like literally though. Hey, Coke project. You and Christian? ? And I'm like, call me. Probably didn't answer my call after that. But I'm like,
what does that
what's happening? No, basically they were like, let's get on a call in an hour and like, I want to run you through this and see if you'd be interested and be able to do it. Yeah. And that was it.
That's great.
Cool.
I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. I was there. I saw it firsthand. Crushed it.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for being my saving grace those days. Seriously.
No, it was a lot of fun. And I think like sets like that and work like that, where it is obviously like you and Christian have a great vibe just by nature of that you're in a relationship and you know each other so well, but also like the people you brought together, it was a really like a good crew of people who it was just like a lot of fun. And I think that that's so important. Even like when we were going back and talking about like the restaurant stuff a few minutes ago, it's like one of the things that is important on these long shoot days is just having good people who can like make a joke and laugh and aren't going to take it too seriously, but will take it seriously enough to get things done and make sure it looks good. And it's absolutely a quality product, but also, you know, it's stressful and long days. And sometimes it's, you know, dangerous and exhausting work, but also like it's not brain surgery here. Like
it's not.
We're not saving lives.
It's hard to remember that when you're in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like there's a common saying in kitchens, it's just dinner. I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be like a common saying or whatever, but it is like it's just dinner.
It's
like
just dinner.
It's not like I've cried, I've been miserable, blah, blah, blah. And I think that a lot of, and you're right, that camaraderie, is super important. And I think, you know, and I know that there are a lot of people in kitchens who found that, who find that. And I think that's a huge part of what makes somebody like successful in wanting to work in kitchens long term, right? Like you're able to have that with people. And for me, like, I don't know what it was, but I just didn't find that a lot. Like maybe it was just at Lilia where I was working for the longest. Maybe that turned me off to it.
Yeah. I think probably it has a lot to do with the whoever is around you. Like, you could have ended up at a different restaurant with a completely different set of people and maybe have had a completely different experience.
Sure, right? It's true. And at Ernesto's, I did have that. Like, I had people, I enjoyed the people, but not enough to like stay forever.
But I mean, the beautiful thing now is, like, when you're doing more of this, you have the ability to choose your own projects. You say yes to clients. You whether it's private chef work or doing video stuff and content, food content. You're accepting them, you always have the ability to say no if you think they're going to be like toxic or something. And then the same thing when you have to hire staff or crew, it's like you pick the people that, you think are not only going to do the job well, but also be pleasant to have around. So you get the opportunity to build your own family, which makes things a lot nicer.
Totally. And it's true. Like, that set that we were on, like, that was such a blast. Like, yeah, we had a great time. Like, we had a great time. And like, I was able to bring like my friend Ben from culinary school, who I adore, and Aristide, who I competed on Chopped. Like, I mean, that was the coolest thing. Like, being able to bring him from Seattle twice. Yeah. I mean, like, it was like amazing. And then like my friend Chris, who I worked with at Blue Hill, my friend Genevieve, it was like pulling all these family members from my different work experience who I did really care about and enjoy. Yeah. It was fun to create that family. Yeah. And the good thing is, like, listen, we're all young little sprites here. We're not old yet. Like, it's like, this is the first 10 years of our careers. We're about the same age. And like, it's only going to expand and grow that family and grow that network from there, hopefully, I couldn't agree with you more. Sure. So, all right, now I got to ask the hard hitting questions. Let's go. Tell me about Chopped. Let's do it. I will say, if there's one thing that I would love to say for someone else to hear, maybe more people to hear, is that they didn't tell my damn story. Okay, they didn't tell my story. Well, all right. First, let's get into that. But really quick, take me through how, like, what led you to even apply? I didn't. They slid in my DMs. Oh, no shit. Yeah. In the DMs. Slid up in the DMs. I was like, hell fucking no, I'm not doing this. And Christian and I were in California at the time, like sort of on like a vacation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I'd call it vacation. And I got the DM and I was like, wait, what? Like, no. I know that this is what they do. Like, these casting agencies slide into chefs' DMs all the time from all different shows. And a lot of times, like, and there's a stigma around it. There's a stigma in the restaurant industry world that doing these shows is lame. Yeah. Which is stupid because I won 10 grand in one day. Yeah. So also, like, who's lame now? Exactly. That. And also, like, especially some of these chefs who like have their own restaurants. It's like, now you just got free marketing for your restaurant. Free marketing. It's true. Free marketing. Yeah. And like, it does. I will say, like, the coolest thing about Chef is that, like, I mean, Chopped is that it requires all of the skills that make a successful chef in order to be successful on that show. You have to manage your time. You have to be creative. You have to know how to hustle. Yeah. And you have to think on the fly and come and be a problem solver. I mean, those are like 5 things that make you a really good chef. So those are important. Yeah. And perform under pressure. Because there's a camera in your face and they're talking to you while you're trying to concentrate. And it's oh my God. Yeah. Except for that, the director came up to me afterwards and was like, I got to tell you, you make for pretty good entertainment. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, if you weren't talking to yourself, you were quite literally talking to your food. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. So then you get convinced to go on. Yes. And then, so take me through the process of like, so explain to me,
so you're saying that they didn't tell your story properly. What happened? How did it go down? And then what's the true story?
Okay, so the story, so I got on a show, and they told me that it was a good hook, which was a true hook. It was a story of my year, which is that I got COVID when the world shut down. Yeah. And it was part of why I didn't go back to restaurants too, is that I lost my sense of taste and smell. And I didn't gain it back until I still don't have it back 100%, which has been a huge struggle. It was an identity crisis. And
especially
I talk about that on the show.
You need that.
Totally. And like the judges on the show were like, wait, so you mean to tell me, like, it would have been great TV. They were like, so you mean to tell me this whole time, like, that you've been cooking in our kitchen, like the last round or two, like you haven't been able to smell or taste anything? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I have not been able to. Yeah. My senses are really, really skewed. And if I can smell things, oftentimes it's my brain is perceiving that it's something else, or it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre.
I've heard some stories of like, even if you can smell some stuff, it smells like dirt or something like that, or like things just are all off. I can't imagine the struggle that must be, especially for what you do. Like, I know it's like annoying and really frustrating for people that aren't chefs. Yeah. But for people that are literally needing to smell and taste to do their job effectively.
Oh my God. I will openly say I was severely depressed for a while. Like,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Like through the winter. And that was part of why we took this 3-week hiatus to California, because I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I gotta like be sensory in some way. Like, being in my apartment wasn't sensory. Like, which is what I realize now. I needed to be in nature and outside and try and get myself smelling like things and whatever.
Yeah, more than just trying to smell a bag of coffee or whatever they tell you to do.
Totally. I had like smell training kits from some foundation in the UK, and I was like, I still do. I take zinc, I take vitamin D, I take fish oil, all to try and help get that brain function back.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. But like, here you are still like persevering and still going out and doing your work despite that. I mean, I really have to commend that. It shows fortitude and strength.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful that I have a lot of it back now. I actually have a lot of, I think I put a lot of that gratitude towards the vaccine. Yeah. Like, once I got vaccinated, I really, like, a lot of my senses started coming back.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's placebo. Maybe it's placebo. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, or maybe it was coincidence, but.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad to hear that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
So they left that off the show. And
so you said it on the day, but then it was like edited out, apparently. Is that what it was? Like, like these conversations, you had them when you were there, but then they didn't make the final cut, basically.
Totally. And also part of that story was the fact that, and I'm not saying this, and this was part of the story. They used my grandfather as the hook for me on the show because he was a baseball fan and it was baseball themed. And my grandfather passed away due to complications of COVID.
And I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Thank you. And I miss him. And it was a great tribute to him. But like, they didn't even say that he had passed away. Like, they totally cut it all out, because I think most likely because their audience is probably a lot of people who see COVID as...
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they don't want to be controversial by talking about a very real thing that is happening.
Which is like the story of our lives right now. We all are struggling from it.
I can imagine this network exec conversation being like, oh, like, I don't know, COVID is kind of like sad and we don't want this to be sad. It's like, but well, it's reality. So
totally. And like, every one of those shows does sob stories. Like, I thought that it would be a good story, you know, and they thought it would be a good story too the day of. But I was bummed because everybody else who I competed with had their story told, and they ended up using a lot of the scripted lines of like, I'm just in it for the 10K, and like, I'm not walking out of here without that money, which like are things that everybody has to say when you go on that show, but they used them, which sucked, you know? Yeah.
That's a bummer. They did you dirty in the edit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it was fine. I don't think that I looked like I was mean or greedy, and I looked, you know, I'm okay with the way that it was perceived, you know, like so proud and all that, but that's not who I am. So
yeah, I mean, ultimately, I hope that you can take solace in the fact that you know what happened on the day, and also your fellow competitors know what happened, and so, like, you know, and know the actual reality of how things went down. So, you know, that's all that matters. Who cares about random people on out in the TV land, you know?
Oh my God. I have about, I guess it did me well because I have about 200 middle America Republican men who follow me on Instagram now.
It's your new demo, Alix.
Oh my God.
Gotta cater to the demo.
I guess so. I lost a few followers when I posted some pro-vaccination stuff. I was like, bye, sweetie.
Later. We don't need you anyway. Those shows are a trip, though. I had the very weird experience of being on camera talent for a Bon Appetit show that was like amateur cooks.
No way.
And I got to film in the test kitchen.
What?
It was really fun. And this was like before they imploded. Yeah. Yes,
before they got canceled.
Yeah. This was actually right before they got canceled. It was literally February of 2020.
Wow.
But it's so stressful. And they tell you what to say in the sound bites. And they really put you on the spot in those interviews. So listen, I understand. It's tough.
It's tough. And like people always ask me, okay, so like, was it real? Like, I'm like, yes, the cooking part was real.
Right.
Like you really are in that situation where like you open a basket and you have like less than a minute to figure out what the hell you're going to make with it. Yeah. Like that is real. The time is real. All of that. Yeah.
It's so fast.
It is what you see.
And it's a lot of running. Everything is far away.
That kitchen was huge because it was like their like special edition kitchen, which was really like their spaced out COVID kitchen.
Yeah.
And so it was really big.
Yeah.
And like they made fun of me for running. But
you need to run.
Gotta run, baby. You gotta hustle. I wore my running sneakers that day and I am so glad I did.
Yeah, you got to. I was doing that when I did the BA thing, and that kitchen is small, but we had to keep running back to the walk-in.
That is so cool. I want to hear about that. I want to see it. You have to send me the link.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you the link. I did not win. I came in second, but I probably would have lost. But the other person, there was 3 of us, and then the other person didn't finish her stuff. So I came in second.
Pretty cool. I mean, listen, it doesn't matter how. It's like how I burned myself and ended up on Garmisch at Blue Hill Stone Barns. I mean,
I had avocado in my thing, and so real quick about me, in 2012, I stabbed myself clear through the hand cutting an avocado with a chef's knife all the way through, in and out. I severed a nerve and my tendons and had to have 2 surgeries.
I know that this is going to be just audio. Yeah. So I'm going to say out loud that I have my hand over my mouth. I am stunned and I am cringing.
I don't know if you can see that. No one at home can see this, but do you see that?
I can see that. I can see that. That's a crazy scar. It looks like the blade of a chef's knife.
Yep.
Went through your hand.
And when it was really traumatic. I still don't have full functionality or full feeling in my hand. And that was 10 years ago. And then when I went on the Bon Appetit show, I had avocado in my thing. And so what happened when it happened to me originally was that the pit cracked in half. And so as I was taking the pit out, it cracked in half and I just went straight through and basically pinned the avocado to myself. And then it happened again. The pit cracked when I was filming in the test kitchen on camera, but I didn't want to like call for a medic because it was like 30 seconds left. So I just like wrapped my hand in a towel and like hid it behind my back because I was like, I don't want anyone to know about this.
Angela, if you need to, maybe we need to talk about your technique.
My technique is bad.
Okay.
I know what I did wrong the first time. I know what I did wrong the second time. The second time, it was purely because I was rushing. And it didn't go all the way through. I just nicked myself the second time.
Okay, good. But that is a crazy scar.
And I nicked myself. Yeah.
That's really messed up. Where do you not have feeling?
Basically most of my middle finger. And because I severed the tendon in the middle of my hand here and the nerve that goes up this side of, so I can't feel the left half of my middle finger.
That's
so I could like put this on a stove and I wouldn't feel it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild. And so like, what was that like? Like they do stitches on both sides. Did they have to do surgery on your hand? Like,
yeah, I had 2 surgeries. I had
oh my God,
1 surgery to repair the tendon because it's like, it would just still like not really fully functional, but like, cause basically like my finger was just like flopped because I had like, I couldn't pull it. And then when that healed a little bit, they realized that I had also severed a nerve because the feeling never came back. So then I had other surgery to repair the nerve, but that didn't really work very well. Because I still don't have full feeling.
Holy crap! That is crazy. That's like Christian yells at me every time I cut an avocado.
Here's the thing. My mom then bought me like one of those sad avocado tools that's like a soft thing that's like you're not allowed to use knives to cut avocados anymore. Or
fair.
Like just at least don't use a 12-inch chef's knife to cut an avocado.
Okay, that's fair too. That's fair too.
You know, fair.
It's so cool that you got onto this Bon Appetit thing though. Like that's really awesome.
Thanks, yeah.
Like I mean, you really must do things in kitchen. Must do things in kitchen.
I mean, the casting process was more personality than anything. They just asked I had to do a video and I filmed it while I was cooking and like talked to camera while I was doing stuff. So I think that's what got me through.
But that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I they were like asked for a bunch of photos of like my Thanksgiving feast that I had cooked. I was like, here you go. And somehow they put me on. I don't know how.
That's amazing.
But it was fun.
Yeah, it must have been sick. I'm excited to look at it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Please.
And well, now like it's funny too now that I know like which burners in the very expensive Bon Appetit test kitchen just simply don't work. All this random shit.
Yep. That no matter how nice it is, no matter how good the kitchen, shit always breaks.
Yeah. So now that you've like had that experience, what has it been like other than getting a bunch of random Instagram followers of like Republican men in Iowa?
Literally.
What has it been? Has that like changed your, has that like kind of like have you pivoted a little bit toward like trying to do more media and put yourself more as talent, or are you still sticking with what you had been doing before? Has it impacted your trajectory in any way?
I wish it has more. And maybe I'm not putting myself out there. Yeah.
It's
I
only
think
been
I need
like
to put myself
months.
out there.
Yeah.
It aired a month ago.
Yeah.
Which feels like much longer time ago, actually. Yeah. But it aired on August 5th or 3rd. August 3rd. And you know, like I had a call with a casting person. I wasn't as good at following up as I should have been. Like, you know, I got a call to be on some like reality TV show that was like below deck for private chefs. And I was like, yeah, no, thank you. And I think that if I put myself out there more, I could probably follow that.
Yeah.
That desire to be more of the talent, which I always have sort of wanted to do. But I've been so distracted by this Coca-Cola project that I really have not put myself out there enough. Yeah. But I mean, listen, it's been cool. Like it's, you know, like I should wear it as more of a badge of honor, I think.
Yeah. And it's still early. There's still time.
Is there? I feel like it died. I feel like it's dead.
No.
But no, I'd like to pursue that further for sure.
Yeah. So that's something that interests you is like, you know, not only being in the kitchen and behind the scenes, but also like, you know, would you be like, do you like develop recipes and stuff? Is that like your bread and butter? Is that what you really like I don't know where I'm going with this question.
No, it's fine. Yes, I do. I do develop recipes. My problem is that my ADD keeps me from doing the things that would make me the most successful, which is actually writing them down. and taking the time to create videos.
Yeah.
And
It's
really like film
time-consuming.
myself.
Yeah.
Time consuming, and you have to plan it. Like, I'm not just going to film, myself making dinner every single night, like, because that's mostly when I'm developing recipes, right? It's like I'm using what's in my fridge or what I got at the market and getting up in the kitchen for myself, not
I would say your Instagram is always interesting.
Thank you.
That's the one thing we get. We get an Instagram photo.
I'm trying. I know. And like, I try to be on my stories. Like, I got to be better about it. I got to do more.
There's always more to do though, right? It's like, it's never enough.
It's never enough.
Yeah.
I just don't, it sucks because I feel like in order to get to where I want to go, I need to like, I have this feeling where like, I have to become an influencer. Like, I have to gain followers. I have to get more attention on my social media. And like, it's exhausting dealing with social media.
Yeah. And it's such a double-edged sword too, because it's got so much bad associated with it as well as good.
It does. It does. It's a fragile ground to walk on.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I think that the opportunity is there.
Thank you.
And I believe in you.
Thanks, Angela. That means a lot. I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alix, for joining me on the show. It was such a pleasure to chat with you and learn more about your story and talk about food, one of the loves of my life. If you'd like to see what Alix is up to, you can follow her on Instagram at Alix M. Baker. That's at ALIXMBAKER. And of course, you can also follow me on Instagram at Ange.Pal. That's it for this week, but we have more coming for you soon. So please like and subscribe to the podcast. And if you haven't already and you're listening to this, please rate and review. It would really help me out. And I'd just really appreciate if you could take 1 minute to do that. Anyway, I got more coming for you soon, but until then, I'll talk to you. Bye.